taking John Leguizamo as my Mobius.
And then he gives you that uptown New York Latin accent. Son, you win, bro.
Oh,
you
man.
win.
So I'm surprised. I thought you were going to bring up alligator Loki, and so I researched alligator Loki.
Go ahead, break it down, please.
And so nowhere in the comic, it's not a comic book creation. It was the idea to include the gator came from an early pitch meeting between Loki head writer Michael Waldron and producer Stephen Broussard and Kevin Wright. We were talking about how we want to meet many different versions of Loki in this show. I was just like, there should be an alligator Loki, and it's like, well, why? Because he's green. So I guess Loki has his green outfit. So then they're like, hey, it's just, and then it's like, he bites off his hand. He's like, but the guy goes, it's so stupid, but it also makes total sense. He's like, you almost have to take it seriously. Like, maybe he is a Loki. Why shouldn't there be an alligator version of Loki? For all we know, that's an alligator universe or whatever. It's just a sort of irreverent thing in this show. We play straight and make the audience take it seriously. And he's like, after a beat, Waldron adds, I love that little guy.
It's another troll.
Yeah.
It's another troll, like Pietro. It's another troll, totally.
So there's I like you said, maybe there's an alligator planet. Like, this guy's really funny. He's like, it's so stupid.
There's a part of you that always wants him to eventually speak English, but then as it goes on, you're glad that he actually doesn't talk. That it's actually just an alligator with a Loki helmet, because that makes it even more menacing and yet hilarious at the same time. Because they really they treat him like a cat.
Yeah.
But it's an alligator, bro. And you've seen him bite someone's hand off.
Yep.
But you trust him because he's got that little Loki helmet on. The antlers.
And like, it's funny, but he's been with them long enough that they all just accept his status as a trickster. And he has horns after all.
And what is his trick? Eating hands.
And then remember what Mobius said, like maybe lying about being a Loki is the most Loki thing of all? So
that's right.
The alligator's a definite trickster who belongs there.
Yes.
But I love how they wrote, it's so stupid. And I can't think of anything that made me happier. That's like one of my top 5 MCU moments of the year, is just watching that.
It was completely random, and that's a good call on your point, on your part, to just, we can't not talk about Loki without talking about that alligator. You're absolutely right. Again, yet another sign that I'm a narcissist, that I want to talk about me hooking up with alternate universe me, female.
I mean, okay, Norbert. Percentage of people watching that show, watching the dynamic between them, thinking, would I do that? Like, what's it, like, of people old enough? You know what I mean? Like, what's the percentage of people thinking that?
I'm going to say it's alarmingly high. I'm not even going to assign it a number. I'm just going to say that there's a lot of people sitting there watching Loki with their little glass of white wine. Just, I would. That's why it's the award's name. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Oh, man. I love it. Well,
you remember Gremlins 2 at the end with Robert Picardo? He's trapped in a bathroom with the girl gremlin. After a while, you see his face just, okay, I'm into it.
I'm resigned to it.
Yeah, let's go. Why not?
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, horrible. Yeah, horrible.
Now, are you ready to talk about the most? Okay, this I don't want to be reductive sounding, because when I heard that Haley Steinfeld was going to be Kate Bishop, who I know nothing about the comics, I just know X-Men comics. But when I knew, and I only know a certain run of certain X-Men comics. But when I was like, okay, Oscar nominee Haley Steinfeld, who's also really good in The Edge of 17, she won awards for that. She's excellent in that. I was like, okay, so an Oscar nominee for this, you're bringing back Renner, who, if you go back and you watch The Town, you watch Hurt Locker, you just kind of think like, Arrival, like, this dude can act.
Renner's a good actor.
And then you learn that Vera Farmiga's in it. You're like, oh, geez Louise. Like, so this cast is stacked, and then it's a Christmas theme, and it's like, 6 episodes, and then you learn the rumors about who's going to be in it.
Yes.
And then you learn who's in it, and you just lose your mind because spoilers, you need to watch Hawkeye, turn it off if you haven't. But then, Vincent D'Onofrio comes in as Kingpin, and then you get Florence Pugh as Yelena coming in and just crushing it. And it's just, I mean, and like even Linda, even the big twist with her and the watch.
Yeah.
I mean, all that cool stuff. And I was on this meeting with these, we do pitches for this thing, like writing scripts and doing all this. And so we were talking, people were talking about Hawkeye and how no one even called the Kingpin thing. No one called this thing. Oh, and you also get a new show too. You get Maya Lopez. So you get Echo coming out too. Like, she's a badass. Like, that was really cool.
It was.
And you know what sucks though? Her dad, like I'm a big fan of that dude. He's in Fargo and just an excellent
Yeah.
actor. I wanted more of him, but when he got killed, I got mad. I was like, no, you don't kill him. But
You don't.
Reservation Dogs too. He's really good in Reservation Dogs. Oh man,
I've been meaning to watch that.
yeah, he's
so I
really
got to get
good
on
in
it.
that. But just seeing this together, and then just seeing Haley Steinfeld, just how I don't know, man, she's such a likable screen presence. And then watching Renner, who, you know what I like about Renner? He has this, I can't speak about hearing loss, but he has the hearing aid. He's been through the ringer. He's just tired and he's old and he's like broken and he just wants to be back with his family. And just watching this unfold and the family dynamics and like, watching Kate Bishop believe in herself, like it's such a good show, man. This show was such a great way to end an MCU year for me as far as TV shows go, because man, did I enjoy this.
No, 100% agree, man. When it first starts, it like all the MCU shows, it starts off kind of slow, and you're thinking, okay, where's this going? What's happening? Am I interested in these characters? A lot of the chatter online was, this one is the worst of the MCU shows so far this year. This one is so bad. Who cares about Hawkeye? Exactly. They're trying to make another male character into a woman, that type of stuff. And it's just, why are you all so angry, man? Let the show unfold. And as it does unfold, like you say, Haley grabs your heart, and nobody plays grizzled, I'm done with this, like Renner. He's basically doing an extension of his character, like you said, from the Hurt Locker. Except, dude from the Hurt Locker, he was kind of tired of it too. But then at the same time, the action is the juice, So he wants to keep going back. He wants to keep going back to the point where he doesn't even care about his family. And so maybe after 30 years of being the action is the juice guy, this is the guy you get. Where it's just, okay, I'm done with this. I can't even hear anymore, for Christ's sake.
I need some frozen juice to put it on my bruises.
Yeah, seriously. Can I just go home now? I'm done with this. And so this girl shows up, and she's just super fangirl. Oh my God, you're Hawkeye. And remember when you did this? And remember that time at band camp? And he's just like, okay. And he could be a total jerk about it. Can you get away from me, please? And he is for a little while. But he eventually warms to her when he sees that not only does she have the skills, she's got the heart. She's got the constitution for it. She's ready to go. And she would fit in, actually, with the rest of the people. Because this is not just something that you kind of want to do, like where you just pick up a guitar. I'm going to learn guitar. And then maybe I'm going to learn Spanish next week. No, she's invested. She's not going to let this go. So you might as well guide her and be a mentor. And then eventually she becomes part of the family. It's a beautiful thing. It really is.
And just her calling him incessantly on the phone and just never giving up. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So, no, it's sweet.
I found out something really cool. And so my favorite moment is when Yelena just starts eating mac and cheese.
Yeah. Yes. The hot sauce.
Reading this, though, researching it, in Black Widow, in the beginning, when she's a kid, when they're walking into the house, she asks Rachel Weisz, can we have mac and cheese?
Oh.
So there's like there's a tie-in on mac and cheese. And then also the addition of hot sauce has a very different explanation. I guess Yelena's pasta topping came entirely from Florence Pugh herself. So she said, or Bertie, let's see, was it Bert and Bertie? They are the people who directed this.
Right.
They said, let's see, on-set riffing resulted in a hot sauce bottle being thrown Yelena's way instead of a different object. And Pugh, a big fan of hot sauce, came up with the idea of putting it all over the mac and cheese. So it's like you have a nice improv, but also you have an old school mac and cheese from when she was a kid. So it's just it's pretty cool, man. Like it ties together, but it's also just her being funny and like eating other people's food and complaining about one fork. And it's just you know what? Can I tell you? We'll talk about the movie on part 2 of this because this episode's going for a while.
No, I got you. But when I can't think of anything more blasphemous to put on mac and cheese than hot sauce, because the hero of mac and cheese is the cheese. So that's just totally, like you say, going back to when she was a kid. This is what I like. This makes me feel like home. And the big theme of Hawkeye is that family. Because each one of the series has that kind of underlying theme that we mentioned. And Hawkeye is, you're dealing with your past and you're trying to reconcile with your past and you're trying to just put your family unit together because it's a little bit broken. But Hawkeye's family unit, be clear, is not broken at all. He loves his family. They love him. They accept him as a superhero, period. But new Hawkeye, Haley, she's also Hawkeye. Her family situation's a little messed up. We know from the Black Widow movie that Yelena's family situation is messed up. They're trying to resolve these things, man. And they're looking for what makes them feel that comfort. And so even though hot sauce is insane to put on mac and cheese, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Makes me feel.
That's such a good and I like their energy together too. Just Haley just watches Pew during it.
I could watch that scene all day.
It's just watching their two energies.
They're so good.
Yeah,
they're
and then
so good.
Their fight scene in the final episode where they're just scrapping. Oh man, I'm just gonna. This isn't gonna be part of my awards for Black Widow, but there's a scene in Black Widow where Yelena shoots herself up onto an airplane. Instead of landing gracefully, she just thunks on it. And
yes.
That's kind of what I like about Yelena. She's just a kind of a tank. There's nothing really super graceful about her, and I love that about her character. No. So her fight with Bishop in the office was beautiful. But yeah, my mac and cheese is my number one moment.
Okay. For me, the award for old school Marvel villain, full spoilers. Yeah. Old school Kingpin strength.
Yeah.
All right.
They brought that back, didn't they?
Kingpin takes a beating, but he's dished it out as well. And this is Romita era Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. When somehow, according to the comic book, Spider-Man can max out at 10 tons lifting. All right. The Kingpin, he's not superhuman, quote unquote, but he's just incredibly dense. He looks fat, but it's actually supposed to be muscle. So he's incredibly dense and he is strong. And back in the day in the comics, he used to just hold his own with Spider-Man, which is insane. But he used to just go hand to hand occasionally with Spider-Man and with Daredevil. And so we get to see that physical Kingpin in this. And oh man, that was such a throwback for me. I love that, man. Just watching Kingpin throw hands. Yeah. So that's the award.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
I was gonna say the nice thing about that fight was that he clearly takes Kate Bishop. He doesn't take her seriously, so he just throws her 20 feet and then waits for her to come back. Throws her 20 feet. Like he doesn't exactly even want to kill her.
Right.
But I like how she finally defeats him, with the arrows and that whole, he lets her make them and they have the arrow making montage and everything.
Yeah.
But I like how he just keeps chucking her, but it makes her look tough because she never gives up. So I just love how they handle that fight because he just never took her seriously. And then because of that, he gets shellacked. So it's a cool way to handle that fight scene. And I just love that dynamic between the two. And also I love that's Hawkeye. And yes, he gets the fight against Yelena, but I like that it's Kate who gets the Kingpin fight. Like that was cool. Right. That made me really happy.
Yeah, he fights with Yelena because they got to close that.
Yeah.
They got to wrap up that thread with Hawkeye and the Black Widow when they were on that planet trying to get the stone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she when we do talk about Black Widow, we'll talk more. The Black Widow movie, we'll talk about it more. But there was a scene where they're all just eating dinner together, Mm-hmm. So she really, really misses her sister, even though they didn't hang out much at all,
Mm-mm.
So that was really cool. And the whole series in general is just it's about Hawkeye, but not really. It's more about trying to get Haley as Hawkeye. And I think it succeeds. It really does. And Echo, amazing.
Oh, yeah. And like the energies of them work well. Like this is more I want to talk. We don't got time. We'll save it for the next part. But I got my second award goes to a really great scene with Echo. You kind of meet her and you get that fight scene, but it's the ball pit attack when Hawkeye is up against the tracksuit gang. And so what I learned was they were inside an abandoned KB Toys because the Kevin Feige wanted it to be in there. So you have all these random toys. Right. And Heidi Moneymaker, who's been a stunt, she's Black Widow's stunt person. She did all the fights for this, which I thought was badass. Because I once saw her on a motorcycle, jumping over, so she was on a motorcycle, stood on the motorcycle, jumped off the motorcycle and over cars, and 300 people just started clapping. So she's an absolute beast as far as doing that. But it's what we learned though is that during this thing. They actually brought Jeremy Renner in the writer's room. And when he saw the ball pit, he's like, we're doing that. He's like, we're going to do a scene around like a shark and
That's
I
what it looked like. Yeah.
yeah, and then I'm underneath the balls, and I come up.